Hello, is it me you're looking for? Welcome to Thursday's solo episode. I am half asleep because I woke up at 2:30. Here's what happened. I had a little bit of a hard time falling asleep. I am in the luteal phase right now, so that's what happens. I eventually fell asleep. And when I have a hard time falling asleep, it's like I'm aware of my heartbeat, if that makes sense. So normally, you live life, you're not aware that your heart is beating. But when I'm like finally put my Kindle away, laying down, close my eyes, it's like I can feel my heartbeat going, and then my mind is just not quieting down. It's the worst. And for luteal phase, I should be doing the L-theanine. Is that what it is? Yeah, L-theanine, magnesium. Like, I need to be more strict with that. I took my magnesium last night, but still, I think the L-theanine like really helps with calming your mind. I learned that from the Huberman Lab podcast. Oh my God, like just expect a lot of flubbed words today because like I said, I am half asleep. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get work done today, but I am heading to my mom's house on Thursday. So that like shortens my week to 3 days. I was going to leave Wednesday, but I decided to leave Thursday so I have more time to get stuff done. And so it's like rush, have a million things to do. So of course I don't sleep. So anyways, I fall asleep somewhat at a normal time. It just took me longer to fall asleep than usual. And then at 2:30, I hear a noise that sounds like Milo has gotten out of bed or he knocked something over or something. Usually when that happens, if Milo does get up, it's like I'll hear his bedroom door open and I'll hear like maybe my husband gets up or like Milo goes into the bathroom. There's like more sounds following the initial sound, if that makes sense. But after that, it was silent. And of course, part of why I don't fall back asleep is because I'm waiting for the next noises to occur. And in my mind, I'm like, should I get up and go see what's going on? I'm like, did somebody break into the house? And that's what I heard. And I'm just going to like stay in bed. But it was just silent for the longest time. So that was at 2:30 because I checked to see what time it was on my phone. I was like, is it morning time? Like, is that my husband getting up for work? Like, what's happening? So then it's 3:15. So it's been 45 minutes now where I'm just laying in bed, unable to fall asleep, wide awake. So I posted that little thing on Instagram, like being a mom means you hear your child at 2:30 in the morning and then cannot sleep for the rest of the night, because that's literally what happens. And this is what it used to be like when he was a baby. He would get up, like cry a little bit, fall back asleep, or whatever it was, like a noise in the monitor. And my adrenaline spikes, like I'm ready to fight a bear. I'm pretty sure that's like an evolutionary thing that is not good anymore. Like we don't need that. So let's, get rid of that in our systems. And then I wouldn't fall asleep like all night. So this is where the whole thing, my husband would sleep with the monitor because he's like a professional getter-upper and then go back to sleeper. He could sleep anywhere, anytime. It's so, like, I'm so jealous. So jealous. Like, what's it like to just be able to turn off your mind and like not even be aware of your surroundings? Like if we go to the movies with Milo, like he will for sure fall asleep. How do you fall? I used to wonder that about people that would fall asleep with movies or music on, or like, how some people can't fall asleep unless they're listening to the TV. I am so fixated on what is happening on the TV that my mind won't turn off. I'm like, oh, what's next? Oh, what commercial is this? Same with, people put on music to fall asleep. There's no way in hell, because I'm just sitting there wondering what the next song is going to be. Not going to fall asleep. My husband on a plane passes out. He doesn't even have to be comfortable. Like he could be in a an uncomfortable seat and just pass out. Middle of the day, we're like, Milo's playing in the living room, TV's on, he can just like doze off on the couch. Like, what? Like, I could never. So anyways, I'm wide awake. So finally at 3:15, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go pee. I'm going to like stretch, like get out of bed. Because the whole thing is, if you're in bed struggling to fall asleep, you should get out of bed and almost reset yourself. I'm pretty sure that's the advice. But I don't. Like, if I can't fall asleep, I will just lay in bed till the end of time, until I absolutely have to get up. So I tried that, got up just for like a couple seconds. I know you're supposed to actually leave your room and go do something somewhere else, but like, I just can't be bothered. So I got up, went pee, got back in bed. Still no falling asleep for me. So I read a bunch of my book, which is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I'm really liking. I am almost done. I think I have like a half hour left to read, and then I can get started on our next book club book, which is Hello Beautiful. I'm very excited to read that. But yeah, so just never fell back asleep. And then eventually around like 3:45 or something, I heard more noise, and I was like, oh great, here we go. Because that's always what happens. You're expecting to hear more noise and it's silent for so long, and then you hear the noise and you're like, there it is. So now I'm like conditioned to wait for the noise next time it happens, you know? But what I think happened, because I talked to my husband this morning, was Milo got up at 2:30 and just kind of like snuck into my husband's bed quietly. So that's why like I heard him open his door, and then that's the only noise I heard. And then he quietly went into my husband's room. And then I guess my husband at like 3:45 brought him back into his room, put him in his bed. And then that's what I heard. But when I heard that second round of noise, I went into the hallway because I'm like, what is going on? And I just like, my Milo's door was closed. My husband's door was closed. And I'm just standing in the dark in the hallway listening. I'm like, what is going on? I could hear Bubbles breathing at the door because he was probably like, who's out there? And then I could hear Milo like sniffling. He's got like, he must have allergies or something. He wakes up all congested, but then he's totally fine. And I can relate because I wake up all full of snot and I have to like blow my nose 900 times. So anyways, so that's why I'm exhausted. And Sean was supposed to come over today and help me set up the studio properly, actually focus my cameras, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, can you do it next week? Because I have so much work to get through. I'm exhausted. So I'm going to try and crush work, which is why I'm recording this now. And I don't know, maybe watch Dance Life. My sister is telling me about this show on Amazon Prime called Dance Life. And she's like, you're going to be obsessed. So I'm kind of excited to watch that. But yeah, just lots of work to do. Drinking my liquid death because it's delicious. Yeah, so I'm recording this on Monday, in case you're wondering. I thought I would go through some interesting stories that have been in the news. And some of these things I came across on TikTok. Not a lot of them. I think just one of them. No, two of them actually. I came across on TikTok. And then when I was looking at parenting things in the news, they popped up and I was like, oh yeah, I saw that. So I'm just going to go through some of these stories, maybe kind of just give my opinion. And then if you want to, you can go look them up yourself and look at the actual TikTok videos or the clips on TV, articles and whatnot. Most of these things I got from People magazine, but they are mostly based on a TikTok that went viral or like a celebrity on a talk show or something. So the first thing I came across was this TikTok went viral and I watched the original TikTok. It was nothing. I don't know why it went viral. It has like 3 million views. It's literally just a mom taking her 2 10-year-olds to Sephora. And like, there's nothing controversial about it. It's literally just like a little vlog of like, oh, they, have money from doing chores and dog sitting, and they want to go to Sephora to spend their money. And then as a thank you for me taking them to Sephora, they're going to make dinner for the whole family. I was like, what is wrong with this? It went viral and people lost their damn minds because 10-year-olds are going to Sephora. And I don't know. I don't see what the big deal is. Yes, Sephora is more geared towards adults because the products are not cheap. But is it weird to think that 10-year-olds would be interested in makeup? That is not weird to me. I'm pretty sure when I was 10, when I was 10, it was 1995. So no doubt I was like super popular in 1996, 97. So I would have been 10, 11, 12. And I was like putting glitter on my face, like trying to do my makeup just like Gwen, trying to do my hair just like Gwen. Now, was I wearing that to school every day? No. But like I was interested in that kind of stuff. And at the same time, which this mom, when she spoke out about all the negative feedback about taking her 10-year-olds to Sephora, she was like, these little girls have all kinds of interests. You're acting like all they care about is makeup and they just spend all their money at Sephora. Like, no, they play sports, they play outside, like they have all kinds of interests. You just saw this one video on TikTok where I brought them to Sephora, which like, isn't that always the case? Like you do one thing. Like remember a while back, I was going through my old TikToks the other day, and a long time ago I posted, we had made plans to get pictures with Santa at one of the bigger malls downtown, or like in the GTA. They get so annoyed when guys, I'm from Sudbury, okay? Everything within 2 hours of downtown Toronto is Toronto to me, okay? I don't care. Get over it. So, we booked a time slot to get our pictures with Santa and picked up Milo from school. My mom was visiting, so we went straight to the mall, did our Santa thing, and then we were gonna eat at the restaurant in the mall before heading home. Milo was exhausted from school and didn't want to sit at dinner. Fair enough. He was 4. And so he was watching his tablet while we were eating and chatting and blah, blah, blah. And people were like, oh, of course, your child's tired, so you're just going to put a screen in front of them instead of just going home so they can rest. And I'm like, oh my God, like, here we go. So yeah, people love to watch a 15-second TikTok and just like think that's your whole life when it's not. Anywho, I don't, like, a lot of people were like upset about the fact that it's expensive makeup. Like, I'm sorry, people can afford different things. That does not offend me. You know, if Kim Kardashian's bringing her daughter to some like makeup store that's selling, super expensive things, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, because it's Kim Kardashian. Like, people's like how we look at what people spend money on is directly related to our own income and what we spend money on. Like, I see people spending money on like purses or shoes or those kinds of things, and I'm like, oh my God, like I would never, like never. But then people probably see me buying certain things and they think to themselves, oh my God, I could never, like I would never. Everybody has different priorities. Like, I will go drop $1,000 on a camera if I want a camera. If it's like work related, podcast related, whatever, I'm much more likely to spend money than if it's clothes or makeup or things like that. So it's interesting. We're all different. So everybody just like, you being triggered by 10-year-olds buying makeup at Sephora is a you problem. Anyways, so people magazine wrote a freaking article about this, and I just think like people need to just, why are we so upset about stupid things? It's so dumb. And if I had a 10-year-old girl and she was interested in makeup, yeah, I would let her experiment and purchase makeup and play with it. Doesn't mean she's wearing, red lips and fully done face to school every day. But it's just fun. Like, they're just kids. Good God. And then they went home and made dinner for the whole family. Like, everybody calm down. There was this other story that I saw. I happened to see it on TikTok, which I never see anything because I don't consume a lot of content, which means I miss a lot of things. But anyways, a mom was on TikTok explaining how after the holidays, her 9-year-old daughter went to school and was made fun of because she didn't have a brand name Stanley water bottle, or what do they call it? A tumbler, if you will. And so she had bought her 9-year-old daughter one. It looked kind of like a Stanley, but it wasn't an actual Stanley. And so all the girls at her school that had a Stanley made sure to let her know, like, that's a fake one. And we're kind of like making fun of her, which, it's ridiculous. Like, it's a water bottle, but a tumbler. But at the same time, I feel like this will happen and has happened to kids in school over everything. I remember years ago, my friend was telling me that her brother's kids were telling her that the same kind of thing happens when you don't watch certain TV shows or play certain video games. Like, there's certain things that are just so popular in that age group that if you're unaware of a certain TV show, like your parents don't let you watch TV or they don't let you watch a specific show, whatever it might be, everybody at school is talking about it. And maybe they're playing games that have to do with the show or whatever it might be. And you're kind of left out because you're not allowed to watch TV or you have never seen it. So that's like a legit thing. And I feel like it's not much different for a Stanley water bottle or, having the newest like pair of Nike shoes or whatever. It sucks. And I don't know how to not have that happen. Like, obviously, it's one thing to feel left out if you don't have it, but if kids are actively making fun of you and being cruel, like, that's on the kids. Like, that's terrible. And like someone commented on this Stanley Cup TikTok, they were saying, if my little girl was the one that made fun of somebody for not having a real Stanley, she would be giving her Stanley to that other little girl. And I was like, oh snap. Like, that is, the parents need to be aware that it's happening and have to do something about it, because I saw some comments of people saying that their schools banned Stanleys, I guess because they leak. They're not like waterproof if you tilt them, I guess. Maybe some of them are, but also because of this drama around Stanley water bottles. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Maybe it's more so in the US. I don't know, but Stanley water bottles, and apparently they put out Valentine's Day colors and they were sold out like instantly. I never understand why so many people have all the different colors. I guess it's like you collect them like something else. I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's a cup that holds your water. So yeah, it's shitty, but I feel like it's so common, and right now it's Stanley water bottles and tomorrow it's going to be something else, and it sucks. And we need to just maybe teach our kids that, everybody has different things and not to place so much value and like thinking you're so cool because you have something that other kids don't have. I don't know. It's a tough subject, and I feel like it's going to happen with cell phones. You know, I think a lot of parents now that have little kids are like dreading their children getting to an age where they're wanting a cell phone or even social media. Like, sure, I'll get you a flip phone so you can contact us. But with regard to a smartphone, and it's going to be the same thing. They will probably get made fun of. They're going to be left out. Everybody else is on Snapchat and they're not involved. That's terrible. And it sucks as a parent to know that your child is going through that and that they're the ones that are going to be left out. But what's worse, you know? It's so hard. And I really hope there's like a whole societal movement against kids on smartphones before Milo gets that age, because oh my God, I don't want to deal with that. Anywho, just a fun fact, Chrissy Tiegen was on Jimmy Kimmel and was saying that Miles, her almost 6-year-old, never eats vegetables. Like, he's never eaten a vegetable. Now, I'm sure she has put some in recipes that maybe he was unaware of. I don't know, like spinach in a smoothie or something. But yeah, almost 6, has never had a vegetable. So there you go. And she has cookbooks and stuff. So if your child doesn't eat veggies, you're the same as Chrissy Tiegen. Then, did you guys hear about this Kyte Baby drama? I came across this TikTok too. So just quickly, Marissa Hughes worked for Kyte, you know, the baby brand that has the really soft blankets and PJs and stuff, sleep sacks. She worked for Kyte and she adopted, after going through infertility and IVF and all the things for years, they finally adopted a baby who ended up needing to be in the NICU. It was born at, or I think it was a boy. He was born at 22 weeks. So had to stay in a NICU that was 9 hours away from their house, from where they lived. And I guess she worked at Kyte Baby in a position where she would go in to the office every day. And so she asked if she could work remotely, and they said they could offer her the ability to work remotely for 2 weeks. That was their policy, it said. But if she couldn't return to work in person after the 2 weeks, then she would be fired, essentially. And so I guess the story got leaked and it went viral that that's what happened to this employee. And it was a whole big thing. And it was right before Kyte was having their big blowout, like, annual sale. And the CEO issued an apology on TikTok and then was like criticized for sounding scripted and not like genuine. So she reissued a new statement where she just kind of spoke off the cuff and ended by saying, obviously, that they would give her all the time that she needed, and anytime she wanted to come back and work for the company, she would have her job back. It would be there for her no matter what, like, just like went above and beyond, right? Which is interesting because I feel like this kind of stuff happens all the time in the US, all the time, because there is no like standard or rule for maternity leave, paternity leave, all those things. And so this probably happens all the time, all kinds of different scenarios. And women, men are not given their jobs back. I'm sure it's most often women. I just like to include men just in case. But for the most part, if you're breastfeeding, if you're recovering at home, like, you're the one that's taking the time off initially anyways. So this probably happens all the time. And the only time we heard about this one case is because Kyte is a baby brand and because this TikTok or however the story got out there went viral. That's the only reason this is like such a big story. Also, I'm sure if it didn't go viral, the company would not have gone back on what they said or changed how they wanted to address the situation. You know, it would have stood that if you can't come back after 2 weeks, then you're going to be fired. And nobody would have heard about it. And it just would have been another story of the probably gazillion in the US of this kind of thing happening. So I just thought that was interesting. And yeah, maybe it is a good thing that stories like this come out more often and go viral more often. And perhaps, you know, higher up in the government or wherever the hell you go to make these changes, maybe something will change in the US where you have rights to have a maternity leave or paternity leave. So yeah, I thought those were interesting stories. Also, Kaley Cuoco has a 10-month-old. I didn't even know she had a kid. And she lets the baby watch TV. She said they've seen almost every Disney movie. And she thinks parenting comes with a lot of judgment. I was like, oh yes. That's one of the first things I noticed too, because I guess they were asking her about her, you know, like, how's parenting going? And that's one of the things she mentioned, like lots of judgment. I was like, yeah, welcome to the club. So yeah, that's that. I kind of like doing these little news episodes, like parents in the news, you know, because we do similar things on Insufferable, which is out today. If you care to go listen, I got the idea to do something like this for the mom room, and it's fun. So if you have any noteworthy stories, send them over. So with that, I will go continue doing work and just making it through the day. And that's it. I hope your children sleep tonight and don't make a noise at 2:30 in the morning. Okay? All right. Bye.